Houston, we have you the same, and it is so great to hear from Earth again. To Asia, Africa, and Oceania, we are looking back at you. We hear you can look up and see the moon right now. We see you too. When we burned this burn towards the moon, I said that we do not leave Earth, but we choose it. And that is true. We will explore, we will build ships, we will visit again. We will construct science outposts, we will drive rovers, we will do radio astronomy, we will found companies, we will bolster industry, we will inspire. But ultimately, we will always choose Earth. We will always choose each other.
Wow. Pretty heady objectives there, huh? Artemis II on its mission around the moon. Pretty much done its mission, by the way, and then heading back to Earth where it plans to land on Friday. The story there, what you just heard, Mission Control has reacquired the signal. There was a point, I guess it was 40 minutes, where they lose that signal, right? And then, of course, the big worry is, even though they know that's going to happen, that everything go okay and they reestablish communications, which they clearly did. Dr. Gordon Osinski is a planetary geologist. He's a professor of earth sciences at Western University, part of the science team, by the way, for the first Artemis mission back to the moon, and he's on the line. Dr. Osinski, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Can I begin? I want to make sure I got this right. Did you actually work with Jeremy Hansen, who was on board this mission?
Yeah, I've known Jeremy for about 15 years now, actually. Not long after he became an astronaut, the Canadian Space Agency reached out and wanted to provide him more geology training. And so I took Jeremy up with me to the Canadian Arctic, to some remote places, teaching him geology.
So I guess for people listening thinking, what does an astronaut need to know about geology? They were going to the surface of the moon. What exactly is that training like? What are they learning?
Yeah, and so, you're quite right that this mission isn't landing on the surface, but really everything about this mission is to prepare us for going back to the surface of the moon. You know, it's been over 50 years, we've got new spacecraft, we've got new ways of doing things, we've got new science questions, and we will be going to a totally different part of the moon as well. And so, but having said that, I'm looking at I was spending the last half an hour just looking at some of the initial images that have come back from the astronauts on the Orion spacecraft, and, they're truly spectacular. And they had a list of, targets from the Artemis II science team, particular craters, particular things that they wanted to have imaged and documented. And so they really need to know, some geology so that they can, because they're flying fast, they've got to find a particular crater or a particular landform very quickly. And so the more geology they know, the easier that will be for them. And then I always like to point out, ultimately these 4 astronauts, they already, are ambassadors for, human space flight. They will be coming back and speaking to the public, giving talks, and, the more geology knowledge I can provide to them too, the better they'll be at answering questions as well.
If I can ask again, from a layman's perspective, the idea that they flew to that side of the moon, when we talk about they traveled farther than any mission before, we know that sort of front side of the moon that we see, and now, of course, they talk about the dark side that we've never been to. What do we know from the moon's surface that makes one side different than the other, or how much is that difference, if any?
It's actually super interesting, and we do not know all the answers yet. We're used to staring at, on a full moon, you can look up, and the side nearest to us has these really big, dark areas, which are giant impact basins that were filled in by lava flow. And probably, a third of the surface of the near side looks like that. The far side of the moon is not always dark, so we do have good satellite data, and we have some images from this crew, and it looks totally different. It is more heavily cratered. There was a lot less volcanic activity early in its history, and to be honest, we really don't quite understand why, and that's actually part of the motivation for why we want to go back to the surface of the moon, to different locations, because all of the Apollo missions basically landed on the near side near the equator, so kind of in a line too. And so there's lots we don't understand about the polar regions and the far side of the moon.
There are people, when we first talked about this, who asked, well, look, we landed on the moon 50 some odd years ago. We were able to do it then. Why didn't we simply go back and land again this time?
It's a great question, and I wish my answer is I wish we'd gone back sooner too. But the reality is, 50 plus years have gone by. We've had to design brand new spacecraft, and anytime anything new is designed, it's got to be put through its paces, and so that's exactly what happened here. And it looks, we've still got to get the crew back safely to Earth on Friday, but so far, this mission has been an amazing success.
Yeah, to that point, by the way, with respect to an amazing success, I was saying earlier in the show today, because people are now so wrapped up into this, perhaps more so since it actually launched, this has gone flawlessly, has it not, up until this point?
It has. There was, if people were really following it, there should have been a launch in February, and then that was postponed to March. And so, there's a couple of delays where really they turned out to be mostly due to issues with fueling the rocket. But after NASA fixed those, this went flawlessly. I was down for the launch last week, which was incredible. And, they have these launch windows of, over 3 hours long. And nobody was expecting that it would go, basically in the first possible minute. So from that moment, it's really gone absolutely, flawlessly.
As you said, fingers crossed they come home on Friday. We wish them well. Dr. Osinski, I thank you so much for the time. Very much appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.